Right guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video I wanted to go over my bonsai collection again. I just wanted to do an updated video. I did say when I did that first video of my collection, I said I would do one in spring when everything was in full leaf, and it is now, so we're going to go through it. I'll have a look at some, and then a couple of them I'm going to put out and pull out so you can see them a bit better, because it's all a bit clumped in at the moment. So we'll start down the bottom. You probably remember this one. This is the Sergio maple that I actually got from Greenwood. It was originally the right hand trunk had one equally as thick on the left even, but you can see with the cut paste there that's in there. I actually took that off because I didn't actually like the design at all really when it came to it, but it's got lovely red leaves at the moment. It's pushed out a load of new growth. All my maples have got rid of all the black fly little things that are on them, as some of you pointed out in previous videos. So if there are little black bits on there, they should be dead now. I've sprayed it with the soap and water. And it did a really good job actually. It killed them so quickly. So next tree is the corkbark elm. Obviously you guys have so far only seen this in just twig mode, but it's got some lovely fresh bit of new growth on it now. Lovely small little leaf. I actually really like this tree. I find it a really great tree. It's got quite a bit of growth actually coming out the trunk if I ever wanted more branches, but I've been tearing those off because I don't want them, obviously. But if you guys remember when we repotted this soil level on the old pot was actually up to about there. So we added on about 1 inch worth of actual trunk, and it had a nice thick surface root down here as well. But yeah, really enjoy this tree. Last year we did a bit of thinning out on the branches, you can see on the right there. So hopefully this year we'll have a bit more ramification in the tree. Now the next one is going to be my Arakawa maple, but I'll quickly move that out so you can see that better. There you go. So here's the Arakawa maple. Give you a wide range shot. It's an amazing tree actually. I absolutely love this tree. We've gone past the nice red growth now. It's already turning green, most of the leaves. Only the new ones down here are still coming out as red. I did begin the year by pinching off some of the branches to try and promote some more back growth, and that's kind of exactly what it's did, especially this pad here. It's got a really nice thickness and bushiness to it. Obviously I don't want it to get too bushy because you don't want you want enough light still getting into the inside branches to get some more buds on the inside. I'll give you a little view down there. This one also had a ton of that black fly stuff on it, but most of that is gone now. If there's any left like the other maples, it's dead. A couple of trees, a couple of leaves have unfortunately been eaten. I will just end up probably picking those off, and hopefully some new ones will take its place. But that is bound to happen, especially with the amount of black fly and stuff that we had on it. You can see where they all were clumped together, where they've kind of dissolved, their bodies have dissolved in the soap. But yeah, anyway, so there we go. Obviously being it May time now, all these trees I'll start feeding them. I've got a slight problem with feeding at the moment because I bought those little baskets that you plonk in with your food to stop birds, but that unfortunately hasn't stopped my dog from biting them off the trees, breaking them open and chewing the insides up. So I'm going to have to put a little barrier around all my trees at this rate, just so we can stop him, or maybe I'll try and bury them into the soil. That might be a better option actually. But anyway, on to the next. So back down to the front row here, we have my Scots pine. This actually I did a bit of work on, but I didn't put it in a video actually, just because it was very quick. Wasn't really worth its whole video. Basically it had a massive bit of this thick branch coming out here, but had no growth on it. and I understand that the person probably did it for maybe a gin, but I don't really actually want a gin there, so I've taken it off and rewired some of the branches just to give it a bit more movement. But it's got some really nice movement as it is in the trunk. Now on to the next, actually the wrong way around. This is my Dawn redwoods. Bought this from Greenwood Bonsai, I believe, last year, and I actually had 5 in this one pot, but I bought them in about summertime last year and they all died except these 2. Well, this one on the right nearly went, but luckily they've come back, which is really nice. So at least I've got 2, which I don't mind because I can do something with 2. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to put them in their own pots or if I'm going to train them as a forest and maybe move them closer together, or I might buy some more and then remake the forest again but slightly bigger. Now if we go up here, this here is my Korean hornbeam. You'll have to excuse all these, as I was saying in the last clip, these down here are all the, so you can see the gnawed up to get into the fertilizer that the dog has decided to help himself to. But here's my Korean hornbeam. I love it. I'm loving this tree at the moment. I think it's great. It's got really nice movement with it, and now with the nice fresh new green foliage, still got new leaves coming out, as you can see there. I think this is going to look really, really great. Here is my burning bush tree. If I remember, I'll put the official name in a little bit down the bottom, because I still can't say the name of this tree, but it's got some awesome leaves on it at the moment, and these little berry things that possibly I think might be flowers. I assume they're flowers, which will look absolutely great. I actually, if you remember the video, I bought that along with the small Trident maple in this pot, but unfortunately the Trident maple didn't make it through winter, which is a real shame actually, so it's a bit of a waste of money unfortunately. Obviously I know I can't control that, it was protected all winter, but it still didn't make it. But being a marmot tree, obviously that is somewhat expected sometimes. Now down here we've got my Potentilla. Got some really nice coloured foliage on it, reddy greens, and it's just coming out now with its second push of these amazing white flowers, which look absolutely splendid really. Got a really nice trunk to it. Definitely needs a repot next year, this one, because I have no idea what the root system's like or how long it's been in there. So on to the next. If we come down here, Chinese elm is in the back, but I'll get that out in a minute. This is my European larch. One of my favourite trees, this one. It's obviously lost its really bright green colour now that it had on it, but it's still a really nice tree with some really nice movement to it. I am unfortunate that I did lose this branch here. No growth has come on that, but it doesn't affect the design too much, thank God. So yeah, I'll get the Chinese elm out in a minute, but I'm going to quickly go down just to 2 small little ones. Here is my Cotoneaster, and this one actually, I didn't actually know that they did this, to be honest, Cotoneasters, because I've only had this since last year, and last year just had the leaves, but I bought it probably really early summer, so I must have missed this stage. But it's got some amazing little pink flowers. Hopefully that focus is poking out. That's going to look really cool when they poke out on that. I've even got a little sucker that's come up that I'm going to try and pull out and see if it's got some roots of its own, and then hopefully we can start developing a new one. But alongside that is this one here. Oh, this one I believe is a barberry bush or something like that. I rescued it from a garden centre. It was in the dead section for like £3. Had loads of growth on top, and it's got this really nice twin trunk, but I didn't want all the leggy growth, so I cut it right back down, and it basically had like no leaves whatsoever really. And this is what's all come out over spring. But I think this is going to possibly, once we start getting actual branches to develop, could be a really nice Mame Shohin sized tree. I kept this one branch up the top here as a kind of apex, so we could kind of have two platforms, one higher and like a child trunk, possibly in the future, but we may or may remove that. It depends, see how well the growth goes. But yeah, so let's get the Chinese elm out and move on. Right guys, here's the Chinese elm. It's pushed out a ton of new growth, which is really amazing. I cut this back massively, I thinned it right out, and to get some more ramification in the branches, and this spring it has not disappointed. If you look back to the video when I repotted this and everything, you can see how, you know, twiggy the branches were. There was just main stems, but there's tons of new growth on it now. Especially this branch down here. This one was quite bare, but look at the amount of growth we've got going. So some really nice ramification there. At some point we can wire them into place once they thicken up a little bit. It nearly needs a prune soon. It's already got some shoots, but I'll leave that a little longer so we can definitely let it push out as much growth as it can. So yeah, we'll move on now to the next tree. So guys, moving on to some more maples. This one actually, I don't think I have shown you as of yet. I managed to pick this one up off a friend the other day. It is an amazing little mountain maple. I absolutely love this tree. I obviously haven't done anything with it yet. This is just how it came. It's a little bit overgrown. It needs some training. It's not fully trained, but it's got a really nice trunk to it, and it's got some really nice roots down here as well, especially when these thicken up and kind of merge with the other roots. I think it's going to have a really nice nabari to it. But that is a great little mountain maple. Still got some really nice colour in the leaves, but you can definitely tell the difference from all the other maples. Absolutely splendid tree. And then this one here is your average Acer palmatum. Go to the garden centre and buy yourself a tree. Bearing in mind this was about 3 times the height last year, and I cut it right back down, as you can see in there. Basically all of this is new growth. You can see there, this branch here and the one up the back here were the old branches, but all of this branch growth here, it is all new this year basically. I'm not sure what I want to do with this tree yet, to be fair with you, but I think it's got some amazing potential. I would like to thicken up the trunk, so I have contemplated maybe sticking it in the ground for a little bit if I can find some room, or just put it in a bigger pot for a bit, because at the moment it's still in this very small marmite pot, which is great looking with the tree, but it obviously doesn't allow for much root growth, in turn stopping the trunk from thickening as much. So yeah, we're going to be letting that one grow this year, and we'll see what we can do with that once it comes to wiring it and then repotting it into a bigger pot in the early spring of next year. Next one I wanted to show, it's a workout lifting all these trees, is my Satsuki azalea. Absolutely adore this tree. I didn't know it was going to bud, but it has just started to. You can see that it's got buds all over opening up. I wasn't sure if these buds were going to open this year or if they were going to open next year, because quite frankly I didn't know. I hadn't had the tree for a budding season yet, but I did message the guy I bought it off, and he has said that it has previously flowered every single year. But yeah, along with all the new growth, you can see the massive leaves and new growth that's come out. Definitely will need a little bit of a prune at some point once the weather's a little bit warmer, but I think it's going to have some really nice flowers on that coming in the next couple of weeks. This is the next one I wanted to talk about. This is my Orange Dream Acer that I bought. You'll see it in one of my recent videos. It's just sitting in this same pot, obviously, because I don't want to move it out. I don't want to disturb. It had some really nice nabari, some really nice bottom branches, but my aim was to try and air layer it, and you can see the difference. It's first time air layering, bearing in mind, but I think we can tell which one has a chance of succeeding. This one has completely curled up and died. I will probably chop this off at some point soon, once it's started pushing out all of its new growth, because it's just useless now, it's just dead. And there's a chance where all these ants are at the moment, I need to get off. This one will still develop if I cut it at top and seal the wound. But on the other hand, you take that off, this one hasn't died. The tops were already like this when I bought the tree, but this one hasn't died. So I'm hoping I can at least get one of these air layers out. If not, it's fine. We'll still cut it down and create the bonsai we were originally going to have down the bottom. But obviously it would be nice to get at least one more coming out. Now, it's getting a bit packed in here now. You come down here, these are my sugar maple. If you saw my community tab, I did put a little post on these. These are sugar maples, I believe. I found them at work on one of the sites I'm on. And it's really nice, cool, this tree actually. It's got really new growth here, and then it's got some leaves that have already really hardened off, so very different depending, but they came up with little roots, but they've both survived, which is nice. I'll just quickly get the other one down here. This one is a bit delayed, it needs a bit more time, this one. I really hope this one comes through. But I'm pleased that the one which has got the nicer branch structure to it has survived, thank God. This one down here, this little pot here, gnawed by same dog that decides to destroy all of my fertilizer pots, has actually come back. It's just a normal hornbeam bought from Greenwood. It's a big long stick, but we've got budding here. We've got, oh, it's not focusing. Let's turn it around to on the wall, it'll probably focus. We've got budding up here as well for another branch, and we've got more budding around the back, which will be really nice. Obviously this one back here, I did a video on the other day, same with that one down there. This is my Arakawa Juniper, which I massively thinned out. Well, not massively, I thinned it out when I first got it, and then the winter just gone, I thinned it out even more and wired some of the branches. Still needs more wiring, but I didn't want to do too much at the time. I'm doing this in stages, this tree, but you can see all of the nice new growth on the end. And then I don't know if I can spot a bit, but you can see down there in here is some new growth. There are new growth in the crutches, which is great. It's a nice back budding, which is going to be awesome because we really need some of that. My Hinoki cypress, which quite frankly has been neglected a little bit, so that really needs some work this year. And the same with this one out the back here. They're still alive, perfectly healthy, just needs a bit of love and care and attention. Come down here, oh, if I can pull this out, I got my cherry, which was in another video as you would have saw the other day. This main apex I'm training, I'm just letting grow to let it get thicker, is really long now, but that thing's doing really well. And then the next tree is going to be my beech, which I'll quickly get out on the chair for you, just to show you it on its own. Alright guys, so this is the beech. You guys obviously have seen the videos probably of when I did its first cutback and repotted it into this bonsai pot. It was a bit of a job getting it fit in there. There's a little bit of root pruning and massive branch reduction. I took the branches right back basically just to the, because they were quite thick, and what I want basically, you can see here, I took it back to about here, and then all of this here is new growth, and this is going to create branches. We've got a branch coming out the back here, we've got another branch here, same with this one over here. We've got a branch here, we've got branches all over the place. Really good about beech is the way the branches grow, which is really handy. We've got this one here with loads of branches as well, and really nice pad, and then we've got a ton coming out of this top one up here, which is really good, because what I think I'm going to do is turn this branch into the new top of the tree, and get rid of this stump, because at the moment that stump pokes out a bit, but at the moment it's just going to be let grown, and then we might probably trim it early summer, let it push out some more growth, try and get a little bit of branches formed, and then over winter we'll wire it and turn it into its more ramified stage, and then just keep repeating the process until we get it done. But it's got some odd nabari to it, odd bit of roots poking out over there, which we'll get rid of eventually. But I couldn't do it obviously when I did it before, because that all had fibrous roots on the ends of them. So we did have to leave those. So anyway, that is it basically on the update of my trees. There are a couple little ones I'll just show you over here. We've got some Chinese elms, cuttings that have survived, and then we also have two Itagawa junipers from when I cut my Itagawa juniper originally, that has survived. Oh wait, there's one more. I've completely forgot about it, and it's sitting right here. The Korean hornbeam. Really need to show this one. My bigger Korean hornbeam, obviously. This one is a smaller one. And then there's this one. Let me get it out quick. Alright guys, so this one I've not done much with, but I was really looking forward to seeing this in leaf. And oh boy, has it not disappointed. It's come out some really lovely green leaves all over it. It's still pushing out some new growth. It's quite an odd tree. It's kind of got a sloped canopy, like a weeping canopy at the top from the previous guy that's trained it. And then you've got this one branch, that's it, just on the trunk, the one solitary branch coming out the side as a little pad before you get to the top of the tree. But I really like the design. It's got a really nice trunk on it, really nice nabari. It needs a bit of a trim, obviously at some point, because it's just going to be let grown for a little bit. Just to bring it back to its original shape. This is my only issue at the moment, which I'm trying to, which I'll have to trim it back at some point to get some new growth basically into these branches, because if you look from a distance, that pad's got loads of growth on the edges, but you do need some new growth actually on the inside of the branches as well, like you've got up the top here. You can see this is all growth all over the tree, because it's just lack of sunlight, I think, basically. I just need to get some more light coming into that branch. If you can see in there, I hope the camera focuses, you've got some little buds poking out as it is. So we'll have some more leaves in there at some point, just give it a chance. But either way, absolutely love this tree. I think it's definitely one of my favourites. Love Korean hornbeams. When it comes to autumn, and I'll do a little video like this in autumn with all of them in their autumn colours, it's going to look absolutely fabulous. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one.